Hi guys, welcome to a video from Jake and Simon, just on messing around in the garage with our bikes. We haven't done one for ages, so summer's on its way, spring's here. We thought we'd get the old Mersin Strada Speciale out of the loft, blow the dust off, and yeah, give it a bit of TLC in time for summer. Yeah, I've just popped on some charge slice bull horns and some new brake levers, TT style brake levers. But I'll do the bike probably in a different video. So this morning is all about just taping the bars, specifically bullhorn bars. Taping bars is not rocket science particularly, but I am a bit of a fuss pot, so this just give you some pointers on what I do to get a nice finished product. As you can see, Blue Peter style. Here's one I did earlier. So I'm using Data tape. It's quite cheap, great range of colours. We'll go from there. So starting point, obviously I've got the new cables on, levers on, brake cable secured. You need to get the brake cable runs under the bars rather than through the bars. As you can see, just some winds of electrical tape to secure the cable before putting the tape on. Jake's waving at me, but I just think he's just being a director. Might sound obvious, but yeah, don't put too much tape on. You want the bar tape to stick to the handlebars, not the tape, because this is a bit more slippery and it might start to move around. So I want the tape to finish same side, same width from the stem either side. So I've got that's just a little bit of tape there, so I know where I'm going to finish. The Data tape's got a logo on it. I don't know if you can see that with the sun shining on it, but I guess you may or may not want the Data logo showing. I'm quite happy seeing it. I guess I'm going to overlap this way. If you don't want to see the logo, you can overlap that way, of course. You need to give it a fair bit of overlap, so just make sure you're not going to run out of tape. So the choice is yours. The amount of bar to be taped for bull horns is slightly less than a full drop, so either you're going to cut a bit off at the end or you're going to overlap the tape slightly more. I'm quite happy overlapping a bit more and giving it a bit of a more padded, chunky feel. So again, that's my choice. A key difference when doing bull horns is that you're starting from a definite edge. So for a drop bar, you just kind of start off the end of the bar and you wind it and then you tuck it in with the plug. So it's important to get a nice starting point near the TT brake lever. It does, just the way it is, it does mean the Data logo is upside down to start with. So that's just again, that's just one of them things, but hey ho, it's not the end of the world. You overlap the tape about a third extra, so that I've cut a taper there, which will give me a nice lead-in point against the brake lever. That taper length, that taper is about 11 centimeters. Generally, it's about a third more than the diameter of the bar and the cable in this case. The sticky tape on the back obviously is only in the middle, so just get a little tab of electrical tape just to stop this starting point wandering around too much. Nice to get that started, so it's just going to stick that on there. I'm a bit of a fuss pot, so it might be that we stop the video just so I can catch up and admire my handiwork. So that's on. So just keeping that as close as I can to that brake lever. The backing tape, once you've started it, as you stretch the tape, the backing tape just kind of falls away, so just make sure you haven't got that caught up anywhere, and you can just rip it off every so often. So not kind of stretching it too much at this stage, just give it a chance to stick. And also, especially if you're using light coloured tapes, you need to make sure you don't get it mucky whilst you're working with it. So yeah, make sure you've got clean hands and try not to let it touch your bike chain on the way, otherwise you're going to be a bit upset. So here we go. I'm just about to start kind of tapering down. If you have got tape with a logo on it, you can use the logo, of course, as a good reference point. What you do need to make sure is that if you overlap too much, this tape needs to stick to the bar, not the tape itself. If the tape sticks to the tape, it's not actually on the bar, and it's going to move about, and you're going to have gaps and wrinkles appear. So just bear with me as I faff around with this. Obviously around the corners as well, we need to have a suitable amount of overlapping. Also got plenty of bar tape in this circumstance, so I can afford to come in on the inside of the corners rather than risking it having gaps on the outside of the corners. So I'm applying more pressure now as we come round the corners. This little bit that falls away, as I said, now doesn't want to play ball, but yeah, keeping that tension up, just using the other side as a reference point. And normally at this point I'd stop and have a cup of tea, but obviously now I'm a film star, I've got to just kind of keep going for it. So if it all goes wrong, I'm going to blame you guys. So here we're going back on the straight, so I can kind of stop overlapping too much. So this little bit of tape's annoying me now, so just going to rip that off, put that on the floor. So making sure the backing tape is actually on the bar, not on the tape itself. Clearly I'm not going to win any world records for how quickly someone can tape bars up, but hey, a few minutes extra gives you a good job that's secure and you can be happy with, because when you're riding along those little country lanes, apart from looking at the trees and the road and the birds, then you're staring at your bar tape and all those little wrinkly imperfections that you then wish you'd spent a bit more time on. So on the corners again, just giving a bit more tension. Obviously you'll see, depending on the diameter of your bar, depends on how quickly the data logo moves around the bar. I guess if you had slightly thinner bars, the data logo may actually follow all the way up, but I'm not such a perfectionist that actually bothers me. So just coming half around the corner again now, so keep plenty of tension in it. Making sure your spacing looks, you're happy with your spacing. I'm so slow, we're probably going to run out of memory card in a minute, but hey ho, you can come back for part 2. So now on the home straight, make sure this backing tape's out the way, keeping the tension up. So now, there's not a huge amount I can do about it, but I'm just now going to start to think about my end point. Don't want to don't want any tape, I guess, off if I can help it. So just coming around here. So in a minute I'll kind of. So what I've done in this example, I've actually already put a taper on this end of the bar, so I know exactly where it needs to go. So if I keep doing that, yeah, so if I keep on this way, then my taper finish is pretty much spot on. So let's wind it back and do it properly. Let's tape out of the way again. So here we go. Also, the tension you put in the tape depends on how much cushioning you have. If you stretch it, the longer you further you stretch it, and the harder and less cushioning you're going to get. So I've hit a little bit of tape. Where that muck's come from? That must be out for Jake. It's going to bug me. Right, actually what I haven't done is I have not prepared a little bit of tape to keep that secure. So I'll wind that around there. Right, Jake, just pop your finger on there. I guess when you buy bar tape, you always get the finishing tape from the manufacturer. In this case it's black and it's got data written on it, so I happen to have some kind of grey electrical tape which I thought kind of goes with these things over here a bit more. So I'm just going to snip the really tiny end off this bar tape. It's just going to get too fiddly for words. Just snip it somewhere down there. I'm going to snip myself a little tiny bit of tape just to hold that loose end. I can't talk if I've got the scissors in my mouth, apart from that health and safety issue, I guess. So, right, so just pop this round here. You never thought you'd spend half an hour doing it with handlebar tape. Hey ho. Right, okay, let's finish that off as nicely as we can up here. Right, so in the same direction as the tape is wound on, I'll put some electrical tape. Don't stretch this too much, because as you stretch electrical tape it gets narrower. So just trying to meet that at the end of the tape where possible. Just need a little bit of tension just to keep it snug. So last time round, there we go. So I want that joint to finish down there, so I'm just going to snip that off about there. There we have it, job done. So is it as good as the other side? Yeah, looks okay to me. It's done now. So cool. Right, thanks for watching, and yeah, look out for the video on the rest of the bike for those who are interested. Cheers guys.